Good morning students, welcome to Royal Palace College online competitive classes. So in the last class we have discussed some questions based on hybridization and some other concepts of organic chemistry, basic principles. Now let us proceed further into the topic. First question is, which of the following is not a nucleophile? Here nucleophile basically we categorize reactants into nucleophiles or reaction intermediates into nucleophiles, electrophiles and free radicals. Nucleophiles means the atom or molecule with negative charge or lone pair of electron present on it is called nucleophile. Electrophile means the atom or molecule which carries positive charge, or they must be electron deficient compounds. They must contain empty orbitals, electron deficient, incomplete octet. Okay, those are called electrophiles. Free radicals means the atoms or molecules that contains only single electron or unpaired electron on them are called free radicals. Now in the given question they are asking which one is not nucleophile. If you observe here, cyanide ion contains negative charge. This is ROH. ROH means alcohol. In the alcohol, on the oxygen atom, there are two lone pairs. As you know, oxygen contains two lone pairs. Similarly, in the ammonia, nitrogen contains one lone pair. But in case of boron trifluoride, the central atom boron is electron deficient. How means? You know boron atomic number is 5. So you write the configuration, then you will get 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. If it undergo excitation, okay, first excitation, then you get 1s2, 2s1, 2p, x1, 2p, y1, 2p, z. That means here one unpaired electron and in p orbitals two unpaired electrons. This unpaired electron will pair with one fluorine atom, this one with one more fluorine atom, this one with one more fluorine atom. So now the outermost shell is containing how many pairs of electrons in BF3? So this is boron with 3 fluorine bonds. With 3 fluorine. So 3 bond pairs. 3 bond pairs means 3 into 2. How many? 6 electrons are there surrounding the boron. How many electrons are there? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 electrons means incomplete octet. And it is also having one empty p orbital, so that it can accept one electron pair. It can accept one electron pair. Such type of compounds are basically acting as electrophiles or Lewis acids. Okay, so answer is this one. BF3 cannot act as nucleophile. It can act as electrophile. Okay, so you study this example under Lewis acids and Lewis bases. There you will discuss this again. In acids and bases chapter, it is discussed again. Next, the heterolytic cleavage of a carbon-chlorine bond produces. Now, cleavage means breaking. Basically, if a bond is cleaved between if a bond is cleaved between two atoms with the same electronegativity, means AA, like that you say. So if this kind of bond is cleaved, that is symmetrical cleavage of the bond. Symmetrical cleavage of the bond is also called as homolytic fission. So if any two atoms having same electronegativity, and if such bond is cleaved symmetrically or homolytic fission happens, then you get free radicals as the intermediates. Means this bond is cleaved exactly in the center, means this atom gets one electron, this atom gets one electron. So a bond is formed by two electrons. If it cleaves symmetrically exactly in the center, then each element, each atom gets two electrons. Then such type of species are called free radicals. What are free radicals? The elements or molecules or atoms that carry single unpaired electrons on them are called free radicals. But if any bond is between two dissimilar or electronegativity difference between the atoms is not same, if unsymmetrical cleavage of the bond takes place, okay, unsymmetrical cleavage, it is also called heterolytic fission. If heterolytic fission takes place, then unsymmetrical means the bond is not cleaved in exactly center. So let us assume here B electronegativity is more than A. Electronegativity of B is more than electronegativity of A. Then the bonded pair of electrons transfer towards B. So A gets positive charge because the electrons of A are also taken by the B, and B gets negative charge because the total electrons are bond pair electrons transferred to B. That means in this case you will get a cation and anions as intermediates in heterolytic fission. And which will be anion? The atom with more electronegativity will become anion. The atom with less electronegativity becomes cation. So this is the basis of heterolytic fission and homolytic fission. Now they are asking heterolytic cleavage of carbon-chlorine bond produces. Now we are talking about only heterolytic cleavage of carbon-chlorine bond. Now which is more electronegative? Chlorine is more electronegative than carbon. That means the bond should cleave in this way. Total pair of electrons must be transferred towards the chlorine. So you will get a carbocation and chloride anion. So options is two free radicals are produced. In heterolytic fission, one cation and anion should be produced. Here two carbanions, two carbocations or two carbonium ions. One cation and anion. Which is the correct option? One cation and one anion is produced. What is the cation? Carbocation, C plus. What is the anion? Chloride ion is produced. Okay? That is heterolytic cleavage. Next one. The most stable free radical is. Now, according to hyperconjugation only, hyperconjugation. I said you, what is hyperconjugation? Shifting of the sigma CH electrons is called hyperconjugation. According to hyperconjugation, same like the carbocation stability, carbanions or carbon free radical stability is also described like this. Tertiary free radicals, carbon free radicals are more stable than secondary free radicals, than primary free radicals, than methyl free radical. So this is the order you should remember for stability of free radicals. Now let us look at these 4 options. This one is C with 1 dot, 3 methyl groups. 3 methyl groups are present on it. Okay. Means it is which category of carbon radical? It is tertiary free radical. Okay, tertiary. Option C, if you see, the carbon is with 1 dot with the 2 methyl groups. With the 2 methyl groups. Means this belongs to secondary free radical. Option B, you see, CH2 1 dot 1 methyl group. So this belongs to primary free radical. And finally methyl radical. So among the given options, which is more stable free radical? Tertiary is more stable than secondary, than primary, than methyl. So the option must be D. It is most stable free radical due to hyperconjugation. Next, the correct representation involving heterolytic fission of CH3Br is. Now just now we have discussed about heterolytic fission. CH3, I am writing H3 this side, and Br. This bond should undergo heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage means what I said you, carbon is electronegativity is less than chlorine or bromine. So the bond should be cleaved towards the, or the electron should move towards the bromine. That should be cleavage. So what you will get here? 1 methyl cation you will get, and 1 bromide ion you will get, Br minus you will get. So that should be the actual heterolytic cleavage. So where is that option? If you see, here it is methyl cation bromide only, but representation wrong. Cleavage is wrong. Here the cleavage is correct because electrons moving towards the bromine. So option, which one is correct? Option B is correct. Option B. Next question. How many sigma and pi bonds are present in the following molecule? How many sigma and pi bonds are present in the following molecule? Now the molecule is C double bond C. Okay, C double bond C. 4 cyanide groups are attached. Okay, this is one cyanide, this is one more cyanide group, this is one cyanide, and this is one more cyanide group. Okay. Now how many sigma and pi bonds are present in this, they are asking. In the total molecule they are asking. So in the total molecule means first you should know what is the bond present between carbon and nitrogen also. So here one bond of carbon is present, means still what is the valency remaining? Total carbon can form 4 bonds. So this carbon forming one bond means remaining how many bonds? 3 bonds, no? That means between the carbon and nitrogen how many bonds must be there? 3 bonds must be there. Similarly, this carbon is forming only one bond with the other carbon, means how many bonds between the nitrogen and carbon? Automatically the remaining 3 bonds will be with this nitrogen. Here also one bond is between the carbon atoms, means this carbon still how many bonds require? 3 bonds. That 3 bonds is with the nitrogen. Similarly, here also the next 3 bonds of carbon is with nitrogen. Now you count the total number of sigma and pi bonds. Now you know that in case of double bond, one sigma bond will be there, one pi bond will be there. In case of triple bond, one sigma bond and 2 pi bonds will be there. That means if I count the total number of pi bonds, here 1, 2, here 3, 4, okay, here it is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, totally 9 pi bonds are there, okay. Out of these 3, 2 are pi bonds, no, so 1, 2, 3, 4, here out of this 1 sigma 1 pi, means this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So totally how many pi bonds are there? 9. 9 pi bonds is given in option 1 and option 2. Now how many sigma bonds we need to calculate? Here 1 sigma bond, 1. Okay. Here also 1 sigma bond, 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, 9. So totally 9 sigma bonds are there, okay. So this is 1 sigma, this is 1 sigma, this is 1 sigma, this is 1 sigma, this is also sigma. So 5 sigma bonds, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 sigma bonds are there. So what is the option? 9 sigma, 9 pi bonds. Next question is, which of the following pairs are tautomers? Now what are tautomers? The isomers that differ in the hydrogen, location of the hydrogen in first and third positions are called as tautomers. Example, we say keto-enol tautomerism. Okay, keto-enol tautomerism means basically if any compound if any compound is there like this, let us take this one only, acetone. If you know that oxygen is having more electronegativity, so these pi electrons can sometimes transfer to the oxygen. At that time what happens means these 3 hydrogens that are attached to this carbon, if the pi electron transfer to here means oxygen gets negative charge, carbon gets positive charge. To balance this positive charge, this bond of electron, this one of the CH bond electrons transfer here, and this H plus ion transfer to here. So this type of 1, 3 means this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. 3 positions. 1, 3 shifting of proton will make tautomerisms. Means now the molecule changed like this. Here H attached, no? So CH3, C, here O, and that O attaches with 1 hydrogen. So this is hydrogen. Now this bond pair shifted here means 1 double bond here, 1 double bond here, and this is CH. So this is ketone form, this is enol form. Enol means 1 double bond, 1 alcohol. See, 1 double bond is there and 1 alcohol is there, enol. So this type of isomerism is called tautomerism. Okay, keto-enol tautomerism. Ketone group, enol group is keto-enol tautomerism. So which of the following is correct pairs of keto-enol tautomers they are asking, or normal tautomers. See, if I have taken acetone, what is its enol form? CH3, COH, CH2. But is there molecule like that? See, I have taken this one, CH3, CO, CH3. Its tautomer must be like this, no? But what they are given? CH3, CH2, CHO. But we need to have CH3, COH, CH2. So first option it cannot be. Let us go to second option. Let's go to second option now. In the second option we have CH3, I am writing separately hydrogen atoms, CH3, C double bond O, H. Now if this molecule undergo keto-enol tautomerization, see this pi electrons shifted towards the oxygen means oxygen get negative charge and this get positive charge. To balance the positive charge, this bond electron shifted here and the proton will go and attach here. So that means this isomerization can be written like this: CH2, because one proton shifted, no, CH2. Here double bond, here COH and this is H. Okay? So that means this molecule here it is written like this. This is CH2, no? CH2, double bond, CH, and what is the next compound? Next group, OH. OH. So is this molecule same to this one? Yes. This is enol form and this is aldehyde. So aldehyde enol is also tautomerization. So what is the correct option? This pair is correct option for tautomerization. Next is, which of the following conformations is most stable for ethane? In ethane conformations, you know that we will take back carbon with circle, okay, and front carbon is represented like dot. Means ethane means CH3. I am writing like this: CH3. Single bond CH3 is ethane. This is ethane. Assume this is carbon 1, carbon 2. If I take this molecule like this, first carbon will be front carbon, second carbon will be back carbon. Front carbon is represented like dot, back carbon is represented like circle. You assume that. Now there are 3 hydrogen atoms attached to the front carbon. Okay? Like this. 3 hydrogen atoms attached to the front carbon, and there are 3 hydrogen atoms attached to the back carbon also. Means 3 hydrogen atoms are attached to the back carbon. So that like this. Okay. This type of conformation of ethane is called as staggered conformation. Staggered conformation means the conformation in which the dihedral angle is 60 degrees. Okay, means between these all the hydrogen atoms, it is 360, no? Now it is 360 circle. The angle between any two should be how much? 60. Okay, so that is staggered conformation. And there can also be another way of representation. Front carbon dot back carbon is circle. 3 hydrogens I am drawing like this on front carbon. Similarly, 3 hydrogens you can represent in the same way on the back carbon also. Means exactly adjacent to them I am writing 3 more hydrogens on the back carbon. Okay, on the back carbon like this. If 3 hydrogen atoms are like this, one above, two sides, then back side also one above and two sides. That type of isomers where the diagonal angle is 0, it is called eclipsed isomer. Eclipsed means each hydrogen atom is eclipsing the backside hydrogen atom. So diagonal angle is 0. Other than the staggered and eclipsed conformations, remaining all other are called skew conformations or Gaussian conformations. Means in between 60 degrees and 0 degrees, any other conformation is called skew or Gaussian conformation. Now among these two, which is more stable means, among these all, staggered conformation is more stable than eclipsed. Why? Because in staggered conformation, all the groups, all the hydrogen atoms are arranged far from each other. So there is no bond angle, no strain between the atoms. Means there is no repulsion between the atoms, less repulsion between the atoms. But here, backside group and front side group both are on the same line, they can repel each other. So there is a repulsion taking place. Or steric, that is also called steric crowding. Means atoms will be repelling each other, or there is no space, sufficient space to arrange themselves. Here sufficient space is there, here not. So due to this bond angle strain is created, or due to that what will happen is it will become less stable, this will become more stable. Okay, so staggered conformation is more stable than the other conformations of ethane. Okay, so with this we complete this now. We'll continue in the next class. Okay, thank you.